The recent tremor in Segamat is a powerful and unsettling reminder that no nation is truly immune to the threat of earthquakes. While Malaysia has historically been considered a low-risk zone, experts are now issuing a stark warning that this era of perceived safety must come to an end. The call is clear. The country must urgently ramp up its seismic preparedness to protect its people and infrastructure. But here's the part that might surprise you. The 4.1 magnitude quake that shook Segamat early on August 24th wasn't a random anomaly. According to leading structural expert IR Dr. Aslan Adnan, this event was likely caused by the release of tectonic stress along a minor, previously unknown or believed to be inactive, fault line in southern peninsular Malaysia. This fundamentally challenges the long-held assumption that areas like Johor are completely safe, existing outside of active seismic zones like Sabah or Sumatra. From an engineering perspective, this tremor is an early signal that we can no longer afford to be complacent. It underscores a critical need for detailed fault mapping studies, more sophisticated site effect assessments, and a significantly denser network of monitoring equipment across the region. And this is the crucial detail most people miss. Data from the Malaysian Meteorological Department, Met Malaysia, indicated the shaking reached a peak ground acceleration intensity of 10%. To put that in perspective for beginners, that's a level of force that, if repeated, could potentially cause minor damage to nearby buildings and structures. This moves the threat from a theoretical concept to a tangible risk. Commenting on the possibility of more shaking, Dr. Aslan highlighted that the first 72 hours after the initial quake are the most critical for potential aftershocks. While the likelihood of a stronger quake remains statistically low, he was firm in stating that it is not impossible. He advised the public to maintain caution, treating the event as a potential foreshock, a smaller tremor that can sometimes precede a larger earthquake until seismic activity completely subsides. In terms of what's actually at risk, the expert pointed to older buildings, structures that are poorly maintained, and non-architectural elements like suspended ceilings, decorative stone cladding, and even large rooftop water tanks. Slopes and retaining walls are also vulnerable to light or moderate damage. Furthermore, local utilities we take for granted, water, electricity, and telecommunications, could face disruptions if their equipment isn't designed to withstand seismic shaking. This leads to a potentially controversial question. Dr. Aslan's recommendation is unequivocal. We should not wait. He called for a united front between the government, technical agencies, local authorities, and researchers to strengthen monitoring networks, adopt advanced technologies like GNSS and InSAR for ground deformation tracking, conduct urban microzonation studies, and perform rapid safety audits on critical buildings like schools and hospitals. For the public, his advice is practical and life-saving. Familiarize yourself and your family with the drop, cover, and hold-on protocol during a quake. Remember to exit buildings calmly once the shaking stops. Always avoid elevators, check for signs of structural damage, and most importantly, keep a 72-hour emergency kit stocked with water, non-perishable food, a flashlight, a first aid kit, any necessary medicines, and a clear family communication plan. Echoing this sense of urgency, Dr. Mahad Noor Asmawisham Alel, a lecturer in seismic engineering, stressed that Malaysia must shed any lingering overconfidence. He provided crucial context. Historical records show 59 earthquakes were documented in peninsular Malaysia between 1922 and 2020, and Sabah experienced 67 between 1900 and 2019. Including the tragic 2015 Ranau quake that resulted in 18 fatalities. Therefore, he argues that Malaysia's 2021 adoption of the Eurocode 8 earthquake-resistant building standard while a positive step is only the beginning. This must be backed by systematic reassessments of older building stocks, nationwide disaster education programs, and regular drills conducted by both authorities and local communities. So, what do you think? Is the government moving fast enough to implement these expert recommendations? Or is public safety being jeopardized by bureaucratic delay? Should the cost of retrofitting old buildings be a public priority? We welcome your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. The Malaysian Meteorological Department, Met Malaysia, confirmed the initial 4.1 magnitude earthquake occurred in Segamat at 6:13 a.m., followed by a second weaker aftershock measuring 2.8 magnitude at 9 a.m., located 28 kilometers northwest of Kluang.